All right, let's talk about one of the most fascinating and honestly mysterious legends in all of history. We're talking about a secret society, supposedly born from the ashes of a truly brutal war, with one mission: to guard knowledge so powerful, so dangerous, it could literally destroy the world.
So what if the bloodiest battle in ancient Indian history actually gave birth to a secret society designed to save the world from itself? I mean, think about that. It's an incredible idea, right? And this whole story, it doesn't start with some shadowy conspiracy. Nope. It starts with an emperor's deep, profound regret.
So, let's set the stage. Our story kicks off with a real historical figure, Emperor Ashoka. He was the head of the Mauryan Empire, and he was incredibly ambitious. His quest for power, for more land, led him to a moment of just unimaginable horror. A moment that would change everything for him, and maybe, just maybe, for the rest of history.
100,000. Just let that number sink in. That's how many people died when Emperor Ashoka conquered the kingdom of Kalinga back around 270 BCE. This wasn't just a number to him, it was the cost of his ambition. And seeing that level of death and destruction, it completely broke him. It filled him with this deep, lasting horror that he just couldn't shake. And you have to understand, this wasn't just some political move. It was a complete 180-degree spiritual transformation. This guy went from being a ruthless conqueror to a champion of peace and nonviolence. And it was this massive change of heart that, according to the legend, led him to make an absolutely extraordinary decision to protect humanity from itself. You know, the famous writer H.G. Wells said it best. He wrote, "Among the tens of thousands of names of monarchs, the name of Ashoka shines almost alone, like a star." And that really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It captures just how unique this guy was. This incredible shift from conqueror to protector is the very foundation that fuels the legend of his greatest and most secret creation. So, how did he plan to prevent future catastrophes like the one he caused? Well, according to the legend, he created what might be the most powerful secret society in human history, the 9 Unknown Men. And here's the really important part. Their job wasn't to rule the world, not at all. You see, their mission was to save it, to protect all of us from the misuse of dangerous knowledge. They were meant to be the silent guardians of humanity's most perilous secrets. So how did they operate? Well, it all came down to 4 core principles. First up, preserve any knowledge that was just too dangerous for the world to have. Second, carefully develop that knowledge, but only for the benefit of humankind. Third, and this is a big one, maintain absolute secrecy. I mean, they had to hide what they were doing from anyone who'd want to use it for evil. And finally, number 4, to make sure the group survived, each member had to choose their own successor before they died. This is how, in theory, the society could last for thousands of years. Okay, now we get to the really good stuff. What exactly were they protecting? The whole legend is built around 9 books. Each one holds the secrets to a different field of knowledge, and each of the 9 men was tasked with guarding just one of them. Let's start with Book 1. This one was said to be the most dangerous of them all. Why? Because it contained the science of propaganda and psychological warfare. We're talking about the ability to shape mass opinion, to control what entire populations think and believe. Ashoka realized that a power like that, well, it could let one person govern the entire world. Book 2 was all about physiology, the secrets of the human body. And get this, it supposedly contained instructions on how to perform the touch of death by reversing a person's nerve impulses. Some versions of the story even say that the martial art of judo is actually a leak, a tiny watered-down piece of the knowledge from this very book.
All right, Book 3 is where things get really futuristic. It was apparently all about microbiology and biotechnology, stuff that's way, way ahead of its time. The legend even has this wild explanation for why the sacred Ganges River is so famously pure. It suggests the 9 designed special microbes and released them into the river from some secret base in the Himalayas. Kinda cool, right?
Book 4 gets into some classic mystical territory, alchemy. Yep, the secret to turning cheap metals into pure gold. And this isn't just a random legend. It's supposedly connected to these old rumors in India about poor temples suddenly getting huge donations of gold, seemingly out of nowhere, especially when disaster strikes.
Next up, Book 5, which was all about communication. And we're not just talking about human languages here. The book supposedly covered all forms of communication, terrestrial and, according to the legend, even extraterrestrial. Imagine that.
Book 6 takes us straight into the realm of science fiction. It was said to hold the secrets of gravity, and, even more incredibly, anti-gravity. The stories say it contained detailed instructions, basically blueprints, for building a Vimana, those legendary flying machines from ancient Indian mythology.
Then there's Book 7, Cosmology. This one is seriously mind-bending. It dealt with the secrets of the universe itself, how to travel through space-time at incredible speeds, maybe even how to take shortcuts across the galaxy. And yeah, it even supposedly touched on the mechanics of time travel. Book 8 was all about light. Not just studying it, but controlling it. The legend says it contained the knowledge to change the speed of light and even focus it into a weapon. So, yeah, think ancient laser beams thousands of years before anyone even dreamed of that kind of technology.
And finally, we have Book 9. This one was about sociology, but on a whole different level. It supposedly laid out the fundamental rules for how societies evolve, giving its reader the power to predict the rise and fall of entire civilizations with, perfect accuracy. Basically, a crystal ball for history.
So, a secret society with this much power. You'd think they couldn't stay completely hidden forever, right? Well, over the centuries, there have been these whispers, these strange little events that have been blamed on the Nine. Little hints that maybe, just maybe, they were stepping in from time to time.
I mean, just look at some of these moments in history. You've got a pope way back in the 10th century who supposedly comes back from India with all this mysterious, advanced knowledge. Then fast forward to the 1800s, and you have Louis-Jacques Olliot writing about these incredible sciences he found in India. And then there's Alexander Yersin, who develops a cholera vaccine right after a trip to Madras. Coincidence? Maybe, but these kinds of stories, plus books like Talbot Mundy's, are exactly what have kept this legend alive and kicking. And some of the claims are just wild. We're talking about a robotic talking head, the actual formula for a cholera vaccine, sterilizing water with radiation, huge amounts of gold appearing from nowhere, and even instructions for building flying machines. I mean, all of these things would have sounded like pure magic or science fiction back when they were first talked about.
So after going through this absolutely incredible story, you have to stop and ask the big question, right? Where does the real history stop and where does the legend take over?
All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Here's what we know for sure. Emperor Ashoka, totally real. The Kalinga War and his conversion to Buddhism, those are documented historical facts. He was a real guy and a pretty remarkable one at that. But the 9 unknown men and their 9 incredible books, well, that remains an amazing, fascinating legend. There's just no concrete proof that they ever existed.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is this whole thing just an incredible story, a myth that grew out of the legacy of a truly great emperor? Or is it possible that a 2,000-year-old secret society is still out there, working in the shadows, quietly protecting us from our own worst impulses? The ultimate secret, it seems, might just be the answer to that question.